Conversations with Nicole. Let's talk about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about, let's talk about, yeah. Let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host. And Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is what I call Mindset Monday, which is an opportunity for you, me, and my guests to chat about something interesting. And so today, the Oz man is back. That's right. Ozzie Daniel is back. And we are going to be talking about resilience. Resilience. Boy, could we use some resilience right now. I know I could use some resilience right now because I have been a little under the weather. So a little resistant. My body's been fighting. And so resilience, we're going to talk all about it. But before I bring Ozzie on, I want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. And your questions, your comments are very much so welcome. This is an interactive live and a safe space for us to communicate with one another. So if you will, let us know where you are tuning in from. Put your city and state in the comments so we can give you a shout out. I see a few people that are on, but no comments as of yet, but that's okay. It's coming. I just gotta pause real quick to once again publicly just thank everyone who participated in Poom Poom Party 2025 yesterday here in Tallahassee at Southwood, celebrating National Vagina Appreciation Day, and our fabulous presenters. We had a gynecologist, Dr. Andrea Frau. We had a sexologist, Sonia B., and an herbalist, Dana Brewer, as well as our volunteers, our donors, our sponsor, Bear Wax Center, our massage therapist, our yoni steamer. And so it was just a great time. Our bartender, who's one of our preferred vendors, Miss Lanisha Thornton of Running Buzz Bartending. So super grateful. Looking forward to the next event. It won't be another year. We will have that one next year, God willing, but we're going to have some other events throughout the rest of this year. So please stay tuned. I see Mr. Marcus Boston has joined us in Tampa. Thank you for being here, Marcus. Long time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share some of Ozzie's bio. Ozzie is a former Navyman. He earned his education in psychology and organizational leadership. He also is a servant leader that enjoys serving others while building a mind of faith and gratitude in the community, working in the mental health field as a clinician family coordinator and a mental health skill builder. He enjoys anything having to do with relaxation. That needs to be his nickname, Mr. Relaxation. Love listening to jazz, reading, and cooking his favorite Caribbean meals, which he likes to charm us with on social media, and wants to. Now I need to ask Ozzie if he still wants to do this jazz corner for others to relax and unwind. And so some of his favorite sayings are: no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Also, it doesn't cost a thing to be kind, but be kind to yourself first. So help me welcome Mr. Ozzie Daniel.
Hey, Nicole, what an introduction. Hey, I'm ashamed we've been hearing that, and it's just ringing. Good evening, everyone, to all those who are on board and those who are about to arrive and those who are about to listen later because they're so busy doing other things. But we understand. Just return back to this video sometime,
Yeah.
So glad having me back here again on the end of the month,
Yes.
April. Can you
Yes.
believe that?
Yeah,
April 28th, my favorite number, 28.
yes,
Yes. So
yes,
here we
yes.
are.
Yes, so here we are. So for those of you who may not have seen Ozzy before, although I feel like you're amongst friends, just based on the comments, which we'll get to in a moment, tell the people who is Ozzy, not what you do, but who are you in your own words, Ozzy.
In my own words, it shall be repeated again. I am an evolving man that have no end. You know, I worship Elohim and I'm grateful to him for his love and mercies. And I just like living this thing called life and learning, growing, and adapting. And tonight we're going to talk about this subject on resilience, but to know who I am, Nicole just said it all. Just hit rewind and go back to it and you will hear it again. But I'm a father, brother, friend to those who know me and learning and just building and cultivating a healthy thing called harmony. That's who.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right, so let's go to the viewers. We got Keisha Matt in Portsmouth. Thank you for
All
joining.
right. Hey, Keisha.
All right, and also Miss Portia is on. She said,
What up,
"What
Portia?
up?"
That's number one right there. I'm telling you, right or
Portia
die.
is down in Miami. Thank you for
All
being
right.
here, Miss Portia. We appreciate you. So we're gonna talk resilience tonight, right?
Yes, that's what we're going to
Resilience,
focus on.
resilience. But before we do, I have to read my disclaimer because I don't want anybody to mistake this for counseling.
Hmm.
Because I have a licensed clinician on. So all topics, past, present, and future on Conversations with Nicole, are for informational purposes only. They are not to be used as a diagnosis for treatment or an answer to any personal issues related to the topic being discussed before, during, or after the program. So I think a great place for us to start is maybe just asking a question of the viewers. When you hear the word resilience, what do you think of?
Yes.
What do you think of? Let us know in the comments. When you hear the term resilience, what do you think of? Resilience in the comments. We
What
got
do
Miss Letitia on. She was with us yesterday at Poom Poom. Thank you for being here, Letitia. I hope you had a great time. All right. So resilience. Let us know when you hear resilience, what do you think of? Give me a word or two or a sentence. What do you think of when you hear the term resilience?
what you feel about it?
What you feel? Let us know. All right. Constance just joined us. She's here in Tally. Thank you for being here, Tina. All right. Resilience. What do you think of when you hear resilience? Resilience. Resilience. I'll start. I think strength.
Okay. All right. Get it out there. Okay. There you go. Bounce back adaptation. That's a good one. Very true. Right on point. Pivoting. Yes. Okay. Not giving up. Big time. Not giving up. All right. Strength, bounce back, constance. Yes. Yeah. That's the key word right there. Bouncing back. Yes. Oh, positive mindset. And that's what it takes to get through all of it, too. Gotta have that positive mindset. Acceptance. Okay. All right. Portia rolling. Recovery. Oh, man. Marcus, you on point. Recovery. Yes. Hello, the ability to come stronger.
So we
Or
got Coach
those
Anna on.
never return to our former selves.
Yes.
Growth.
So the ability to come back
Yes.
stronger than we were before. We
Yeah.
face a challenge.
And
Never
that's
return to our former
that's a
self.
good breakdown right there. Very good. A plus on that. Very good. and everything else that came before that.
All right. So what you think, Ozzy?
Yes, what I think. Let's talk actually really gave a good definition on it. Yet, I look at it as the ability to bounce back from challenges and adversity, you know, and you have to know how to cultivate coming from that. And coming from that situation or challenges, you have to figure out what am I learning from it. So, the way I look at resilience right now is being able to improve yourself than trying to prove yourself. And what I mean by that, you got to find a way how to succeed through all of the situation that you may have gone through and problem solve it, improving yourself daily and being able to say, okay, these are the lesson learned. Now, until a lesson learned, you're going to keep on repeating over and over and over the same thing until the lesson is learned. So
Hmm.
the resilient part is being able to bounce back every single time in spite of failure. So
Okay.
no matter what the challenges are, you still find a way to bounce back. But the only way to bounce back, you can't bounce back from something if a goal is not set.
Hmm.
So that
Okay.
is the primary number one thing is having that goal set. What is the goal? What are the goals? And how you going to improve yourself over and over again to meet those goals. And once you improve in yourself, it may be a part that you may have to change some skills or learn some new skills or gain some knowledge in
Okay.
those areas to meet those goals. So that's the resiliency that may have to come about in order to meet that criteria. And it will be challenging,
Mm-hmm.
but the goal is not trying to avoid it.
Gotcha. So that's key. It's not
That's
trying to
key.
avoid it.
Not trying to avoid it, because how will you be able to give that conclusion to the matter if you haven't gone through it because you're trying to avoid it
Hmm.
or
All right.
making excuses about it? So the resilient part is going to nullify itself. It's not going to have that strength. Sometimes you may have to go back and recap on a couple of things like, okay, what went wrong here? What caused this? So put your mind into that thinking pattern so you could be able to say, you know what? How do I adapt? Because that's the key to resilience is
Mm-hmm.
adaptability. If you're not able to adapt, you're going to be stuck. And if you're stuck, how long are you planning to be stuck there?
Mm. So let me pause. Mom just joined us. Hey, Ma, thank you for being here. And Miss
Hey,
Kiosha
mom.
is on with us as well. Thank you for
Hey,
being here.
Kiosha.
She's here in Tallahassee. And Coach Anna, I didn't properly greet you, but thank you for joining us as
Oh,
well.
Coach Anna. All right.
Yes. All right. So you mentioned bouncing back. We were talking about how you define resilience, but some of the key elements that you talked about was having a goal
Mhm.
and basically keeping your eyes on that goal, like not falling off, right?
Not falling off.
Mm-hmm.
And the key is how big is that goal and how many things is in the area that will cause you to be challenged in such a way that your patience may be very thin
Okay.
because here comes patience in reaching that goal. And if you have a couple of challenges that come along the way to set
Mhm.
you back, are you planning on moving forward or are you going to sit down? Or are
Mm.
you going to fold?
Okay.
Are you going to just say, you know what, forget about this? I'm not going through this no more. But the only way to be resilient is to actually find a way to improve. And how are you going to find a way to improve? These are the keys, and these are the areas that we have to be thinking about on a regular basis in maintaining a positive outlook. So the key is keeping a positive outlook on whatever the goal may be. Whatever the
Okay.
goal may be. You know, a lot of basketball, like the NBA playoffs are going on right now, and
Mm-hmm.
there's only one goal right now is to win that chip, to
Right.
win that championship. And you have to probably play over 21 games because it's the best out of 7, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So after playing the first set, you have another set to go. Are you going to get burnout? How you training your body? What's your focus? Do you have the end goal in mind? And
Good
are you
question.
going to figure a way in your practices and reviewing films in order to find out, okay, where's my strength and weakness and what I need to do to improve? The key is always improving.
Okay.
And that is the main part that I would like everyone to get out of this subject today is how well am I improving? And what effort am I doing or taking to build that skill and that positive mindset in improving?
All
Not
right.
trying to improve, but improving.
All right. So we got a few more comments. Lakeisha Matthews said pressing on. So I think that's her definition of resilience. Marcus mentioned, thank you for sharing, Lakeisha. Marcus said, I recall feeling stuck. It's a paralyzing position. I needed to figure out a plan to focus in a new direction.
Right.
Thank you
And
for
you
sharing.
see, Marcus used a keyword right there, a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out a plan. You see, so here, sometime we may have to go back to the drawing board, but
Right.
the goal is not out of reach. The goal is still there,
Mm-hmm.
but are you going to keep it in your mind?
Indeed. So,
And the
Coach,
repetition and the repetition and the repetition of it brings about the ideas that may come along into achieving those goals
okay.
or
Coach
that
Anna,
one goal.
gotcha. Coach Anna said, what are your thoughts on failure as a tremendous opportunity to change perspectives from the challenges we faced?
And the main thing about failure is it's okay to fail.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to fail, but the key is, are you going back to problem solving? You know, if something failed, you go back to that problem solving on, okay, how did I get here? What caused me to get here? And what I need to do to move forward. Now you may need a circle of faithful friends that you could talk to.
So identifying some ways to do it differently.
To do it differently. Yeah.
Mm.
Because that one way may seem great, but now if you get 2 other angles, now you're the one who got to make that decision too.
Right.
So you have to probably come back and say, you know what, this resonated with me very well. I'm going to try this.
Mm.
But if it failed, are you open enough to be flexible?
Mm. Okay.
That's the key. You know, are you open enough to be flexible? And if you're not open enough to be flexible, how long is it going to take you to get there to be flexible so you could be able to adapt, which is part of the flexibility in that is being able to adapt.
So Ozzie, I know you got some steps for us. So
Ready to jump into the steps?
I'm ready to jump into these steps. Yes, let's go.
You ready? Okay. You didn't wait till 9 o'clock to get to the steps.
No,
You
I did
know,
not.
like
Let's
let's
go.
start climbing.
I
The
need the
patience there.
steps. Come on.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay. This is a top one here. Okay. So, any idea, plan, or purpose may be pursued and able to come into completion with repetition of thought. What are you thinking? What you thinking? What you thinking about it?
Okay, so is that one of the keys to resilience is
That's
repetition of
yeah. What's your thought pattern? You
okay.
know, is it positive? Is it negative? Are you doubting or you believing? Because if you believe anything is possible, If you doubt, it sure ain't going to happen because you already count your own self out.
Okay. All right. Got that.
Okay.
So
So,
this mindset Monday, mindset matters, right?
yeah, mindset is all about mindset. That's why I like Mindset Mondays, because if you have a positive mindset, it's nothing impossible and everything is possible under the sun.
All right.
You know, so number one, got to maintain a positive outlook.
All right.
Got to maintain a positive outlook. Focus on the positive, challenging situation, and try to find something to learn from the setback.
All right.
So that's part of number one part of being resilient. Is what we learning from it. What did we learn from it?
All right. Kiosha said, "Are you doubting or are you believing?" That's good.
Yeah. And that's it. Basically, we could talk ourselves into something with our own thoughts, and we could talk ourselves out of it too. Somebody else don't even have to do it for you,
That's true.
you know. And I call that a terrible way to sabotage thyself. So this year, we're already almost halfway through the year. We have to build up this mindset of being resilient and reaching and achieving any goal that we set in mind on a positive stage
Mhm.
to bring a success into our own life. Because once that challenge have been met and you conquer that challenge and you overcome the challenge, there's always another one that is sitting there to build that mental power in our mind to make us stand steadfast.
Right.
So it's nothing more stronger than someone who's resilient in meeting any goal, no matter what it is,
Mm-hmm.
in a positive way. you
Right.
know so what we need in having a positive outlook, number two, we have to build a support network. You got to surround yourself with supportive friends, family, or colleagues who can help and encourage us when needed. Because
Mm-hmm.
majority of the time, you got to encourage your own self.
Yeah, you do.
You got to set the tone for yourself. You got to cultivate that tone within yourself to meet that goal. Because believe me, you'll always have doubters along the way. But the
True.
biggest person to doubt themselves is your own self. So what you're going to do, you need to find some good friends, supportive friends who could uplift you, encourage you, and help you in those areas. But at the same time, take all those information that you receive and go back and reflect on it. Think about it and let your mind go to work. Because the answer is already there in your mind. You
Mm-hmm.
just may need someone to water it, somebody to come by and root a couple things out of it, and somebody to come by and plant some good seeds in there. But at the same time, you're the one who got to flourish it and nourish it.
Right.
So,
Okay. All right. So repetition of thoughts. Got to maintain a positive outlook. Build a support network.
yeah, very important. Can't do it by yourself sometimes. You need a team and you need partners, most naturally, those who have been in that arena before,
Mm-hmm.
those who are ahead and well experienced that could share some thoughts and encouragement for you or to you, and those who are able to just build you up as you build them up too by showing them, hey, this is my idea, this is my plan. Make sure you have that right circle of friends to share that with, because not everybody you need to be sharing those plans with. Some people you just need to show them at the end because they've been doubting you the whole entire time along the way.
Right.
So, as you all may call it, the haters, but at the same time, don't hate on your own self. You got to believe in yourself, right?
True.
So, so here it leads to, Nicole, on practicing self-care.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Marcus said, how many people should be in our support group?
I said 3. You got to have at least good 3. 3 is that number. You could have more, but 3.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marcus, for that question.
Mhm.
Stephanie said reciprocal support and encouragement is important. Yes, Steph, it
Yes,
is.
it is.
Thank
It
you for
is.
sharing
You know.
that. Okay. All right. So 3 is
Yeah, you
self-care.
got to practice self-care, got to make time for some activities, for your physical, emotional, and mental well-being, such as exercise, hobbies, and relaxation, as Nicole will always say, anything dealing with relaxation is my name.
Yes, it is.
If you're not a relaxed person, I can't be around you. I can't, because it got to be relaxed, because all that thinking power and juices come in relaxation. Nicole, it's about calmness.
Yes,
That's how
Steph.
my mind expand like the galaxy. Got to come down to that calmness and relaxation. And I
Yes.
experienced that over the years, so it didn't just come overnight. But, learning to unplug sometime, doing some different exercises and hobbies, it kind of get you to a point to unplug for a little bit. Because sometimes we get overwhelmed,
We do.
we get too much into the driving part. Sometimes got to just unplug for a little bit. You ladies like to go get a pedicure, manicure, go get pampered, get your hair done, go take a walk, relax in the tub, put some Epsom salt in there or whatever bubbles you want to use, but find a way to relax, to get calm so you could be able to think, for the men, get to the gym, lift some weights, just do some exercise just to relieve your stress level. Get it down to bay so you could be able to think. At the end of the day, is to bring yourself to the point to think so your ideas could come into reality.
Get a haircut. You can go get a pedicure too, man. Get a massage.
Uh, yes, of course. Of course. I totally in agreement with that. you
Uh-huh.
know yeah, I mean, every couple of months, especially, I didn't know about the manicure part, but the pedicure,
I said a
yes.
pedicure. I didn't say
Yeah,
manicure.
you could go ahead and cut them toenails and all that scrubbing, and put your foot in a bag and put that gel stuff where they put so it could take out all of that. Wow, yeah, all of that stuff. Some people that be skipping that part and while they're taking a shower anyway. Some ladies
Hey,
too.
hey, hey, hey. Miss
I
Portia
mean, just calling
disagrees.
it as it is, Yeah, you went there, you know.
Hey, yes.
Yeah,
Marcus said
mhm,
he need a haircut. All right.
yeah.
Please
Mhm.
go get your haircut, Marcus. Treat yourself.
Marcus, the
Yes,
prices, those barbers will keep going up. You may have to get talented with a mirror
to learn how to
to
do it
put your own
himself.
hair.
Right.
$50 now to get a haircut. Before it used to be $10 and a
Wow.
$5 tip. They went straight up after the pandemic. $40. There you go.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I'll grow an afro first.
All right, we got Ish on here from Kaysville. Ish said, "Ain't nothing wrong with a man." He tell him Ishmael.
Yeah.
Hello.
Ain't nothing wrong with a manny.
Okay, good.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Whatever make you happy, get the manny.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. All right. So we are almost at halfway through our talk. For those of you who are just tuning in, I have the great Ozzie Daniel, who is a clinician in Virginia Beach, Virginia. On, we're talking about resilience. Resilience. Essentially, we talked about resilience being the bounce back. And now we're talking about how we obtain resilience. What are some of the ways that we obtain resilience? So, repetition of thought was mentioned, which what goes with that is maintaining a positive outlook. Building number 2 is building a support system, at least 3 people in that support system. And the third thing is self-care. Self-care, so exercise, hobbies, relaxation. Those are the types of things that we're talking about.
Yes. Taking care of your mental health.
Yes. All
That should
right.
always be number one.
Yes, yes,
You know.
yes.
Yeah. So by you taking care of your mental health and your well-being, after you did all those exercise, you get your mani pedi and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now that should be able to bring you into number four,
Okay.
into developing problem solving skills.
Okay.
You know, you got to improve your ability to think critically and creatively when faced with obstacles. You know, got to be able to bounce back and be able to say, okay, this didn't work. This is the way I'm going to go. This is the way. This didn't work. I'm going to use this creativity that come to my mind. Sometimes it come in hunches. You know, that spark come into the mind, and he's like, okay, if you relax enough, you're calm enough, you should be able to catch it right in time. You may have to write it down or take action upon it right there and then. So that's the key.
So, Ozzy, I'm gonna pause here for a moment, um, just to bring some attention to what you're saying, because sometimes I feel like some people don't have problem solving skills. Like they probably do possess them, but they don't use them. Maybe they don't feel like they can tap in and access those problem solving skills. So, what advice would you give to somebody that is lacking
Well, there goes your party of three in your
that?
group. You may
Okay.
have
Support.
someone that you may be able to bring that situation to who are very good in problem solving. But at the same time, you need to be actively listening to that person to learn. See, because at the end of the day, we may get into certain challenges because of a lack of learning and knowing how to problem solve. And but if we get with the right friends and the right colleagues to help us in those areas, because they themselves have been through a lot of challenges and obstacles, they're humble enough to say, you know what, think about this, or look at this, or use this, or maybe listen to this.
Hmm.
That person may have a lot of ideas to help in those areas, you know, in problem solving. And it depends on the subject matter. It
Hmm.
may depend on the goal that that person may try to achieve. You know, so how do you go about that? You may just have to find some good counselors or some professionals in those areas that are skillfully tactical in those areas. You know, but at the same time, keeping an open mind to learn is the key, and
Well,
not in a place of frustration. Because if you're so frustrated and overwhelmed, you're not going to probably or solve any problems skillfully. You may
so
be doing it out of reaction and not being proactive in that area to be able to walk through it.
so I feel like you said something there because I think oftentimes people can get frustrated,
Mm-hmm.
especially our young people,
Mm-hmm.
because maybe things don't go the way that they think that they should, and they hadn't been faced with much adversity, right? And so they may get depressed or feel out of sorts about it all and just give up, right?
Right.
And
So,
so I know that you're saying this support network. I think one of the three friends for many people is YouTube.
mm-hmm.
Hmm. How many people out there willing to admit that YouTube is your friend, your support network?
Well, Google.
YouTube and Google.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I know somebody on this line that be talking about Google. Tell me thus and such. I ain't gonna call no names. Um,
Yeah.
so, but I'm mentioning that again because sometimes maybe we might have some pride associated with asking for help or seeking some resources or what have you. So, again, this problem solving skills thing is a big piece of resilience, if you ask me.
Yes.
A big piece.
So it is a big piece. So therefore, we have to learn along the way by addressing it too. Because now, if that's the area that we're going to keep us stuck from reaching our goal, now we have to have a change of mind on how
Yeah.
we look at it and
Yeah.
how we setting, which will lead to number 5. Are we setting realistic goals? Are we being realistic about it? Or are we just reacting
Hmm.
impulsively without no facts,
Right.
without no real research, without any credibility on it to make us move forward? You see, that's the key about, as I stated earlier in the beginning, improving yourself. So that part right there may be a stumbling block from improving self.
Gotcha.
Because now they may step in that area of trying to prove themselves because I'm right, you're wrong, you're right, I'm right, you're wrong, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
Improving is not going to come from that
No.
because now you're trying to prove yourself in a different way, which may just lead to nothing but ego. But improving yourself is a humility part
Right.
that actually going to open our mind to be able to problem solve. And we can't be too lazy about it because we just want the answer to drop on our lap. But sometimes that's the part where failure may come sometime in trying and witnessing a couple of things that we may need to improve on, you know?
Indeed.
So
Indeed.
that's the humility part that we have to come about in saying, okay, this may be a weakness, but I'm not planning to stay there. I don't want to stay there because this is not going to help me reach my goal.
Mm-hmm. True that.
True that.
Thank you, Marcus. He said conversations with Nicole is a big part of my network. We appreciate you.
All right, Marcus.
So, number 5, realistic goals. I think that is also very important.
Yes.
Uh, Sometimes we can have some unrealistic goals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yes, we may have to have an alternative work plan or alternative goals that we set for ourselves, right?
Right. And the big thing about making it realistic, sometimes we may have to break that large goals into smaller manageable steps that could be accomplished, with the tasks where we at and the level that we at and keep on building up from that. Because building up from that will actually build confidence. Because you
Hmm.
see, confidence is one of the building block that will break down a lot of barriers
Mm-hmm.
once you have that confidence,
That's good.
because now you're going to believe in yourself even more, you're going to trust yourself even more, you're going to
Mm.
believe that, okay, I could make this happen, I could reach whatever goal that is set in front of me, I could do it. So that's building that mental power and
Yeah.
that will.
Okay. That's good.
So
All right. Do we have a number 6?
we have a number 6. We have a number 6.
Okay. What you got? What you got?
So
What you
after all that relaxation I spoke about in the self-care department,
Uh-huh.
it leads you into being flexible.
Flexible.
You got to be flexible because adaptability is the key to being resilient. If you can't adapt, you're going to fold.
Mm.
You're going to
Okay.
fold, you
Okay.
know? And sometimes we got to be open and changing our plans and
Mm.
approaches as needed, Sometimes they have to move, a little inch to the right or a couple inches to the left, just be able to maneuver,
Mm-hmm.
just to be flexible. Don't get stuck and say, okay, this is my way or the highway. Okay. But you may just lose the crowd. You may just lose the people who is willing to support you.
What is Marcus talking about? I'll take a number 6 with cheese. Okay, flexible.
Number 6, please. What
All right.
menu is that? Wendy's?
Right. Right.
We're gonna flex on that one.
Anyway,
So got to be able to adapt. Adaptability is the key.
it is.
Into improving ourselves, and then you'll say, okay, and make you a better listener
Mm-hmm.
to your own self. Some people don't even listen to themselves. How in the world are you going to listen to anybody else?
Good
And
question.
your own thoughts giving you ideas and direction, and you're not even listening because of self-doubt. Don't do that to yourself.
No.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Number 7.
Mm-hmm.
And give on a 7. I ain't getting on like 15 because I
What?
want to be able to go back and digest.
Okay. You trying to have a part 2? That's what you're doing.
Digest. The only parts that gonna keep on adding on is my favorite word, and that is gratitude.
Okay, come on, let's go. What we got? Number 7.
Learn from your experience.
Learn.
Learn. You got to reflect on past challenges in a positive way and how you handle them.
Okay.
Noting what worked for you and what you may do different next time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the building block right there. And that only come in flexibility, being flexible. What did you learn from it? It's an experience. It's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn from it? And sometimes we could get negative about it. But the learning don't come in the negativity. It comes in what you learn from the negativity.
Mm-hmm.
That now you can make it positive, and it will make you more resilient down the road, because it really comes down to decision making. How you developing a plan, that mental power into saying, okay, sometime I may have to say yes, sometime I may have to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime I just may have to let things be. But is this going to bring success to your plan, or is it going to delay it?
Good question. So I'm a pause right here just because I feel like this particular tip about learning from your experience is very closely related to the first one about repetition of thought and maintaining a positive outlook. Because yes, you may be disappointed, you may be frustrated, initially when whatever happens that you didn't reach the goal, you failed, however you want to term it, right? You missed the mark, it didn't happen, whatever it was. But and you are allowed to feel whatever those feelings are, right? But after you feel whatever you felt, do not continue to spiral down into depression and all of this sort of thing, right? Like, so grief, yes. Have your have that experience.
Yeah.
Like you saying, learn from these experiences.
Yeah. And it may take a day or two. It may take a week. Just don't stay there forever.
Right.
Because the most important thing after all of this, as that we discuss,
Mm-hmm.
is to confine yourself to be in the present.
Mm.
Because if you stay in the present and you keep yourself in the present, you will not miss anything that is set ahead for you. So sometimes we just have to make sure we confine ourselves in the present, so our mind will not be all over the place. Like fireworks, can't bring it together. And until you're able to come to that place of calmness, so all your thoughts could be directed in the right direction,
Mm-hmm.
you have to confine yourself to the present. So one thing I have learned over my years of learning is, Proverbs 19:21, many are the plans of a man's heart, but the Lord's will that will prevail. So
Mm,
sometimes we need to find out, are we in his will? Are
mm.
we walking into his divine will that he have for us? Because his plan is always going to be way bigger, better, maximizing, bringing out the full potential out of our being. But if we're going to run away from that, we may not be able to experience and get the direction that we may need to walk it.
Y'all didn't know y'all was gonna get some preaching today, did you?
Hey, so you got to come to the reality of it. It's
And
like, okay, don't pray after, pray before, you know, and the answer will be there and you will be sure of it because it will be in your will.
right.
It will match, it will align, and it will get you into that positive step into being confident. The key word is confidence because if you're not confident, you can't be resilient.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way you're going to bounce back from nothing. You'll bounce into the ocean somewhere, but you still have to know how to swim out of it.
Is that one of our numbers, confidence?
That came in number 5. Yeah,
Oh,
and
really?
setting realistic goals.
Okay,
Yes,
the
you know,
confidence in there.
accomplishing tasks to
Got
build
it.
confidence.
Okay,
The more tasks we accomplish, the more confident we're going to feel. The
got
more
it.
we're going to be able to think clearly and be able to be punctual in everything that we do because now that confidence is getting stronger. You
Okay,
know, it's like
got
that muscle. It's getting stronger. The fibers are just tightening up and aligning up and building up so you could be able to expand. The key word is expansion.
it. Okay,
But if you can't master the little things, you're not going to get nothing bigger than that
got it.
because it's got to be trusted with it, you know?
All right.
So in that circle, I'm going to just add this little thing here. I'll just
Okay.
add this.
Another tidbit. Yes, go
Little,
ahead, sir.
little tidbit. You got to have someone that is well-rounded in the material world, someone
Uh-huh.
that is well-rounded in the soul,
Mm-hmm.
and well-rounded in the spiritual mind, because now you really bring in a strong network into guiding into whatever direction because you could pull from here, you could pull from there, and you could pull from there because it's still you
Mm-hmm.
coming into your own being.
Okay.
So once you get there and that's where the growth comes in because sometimes we may be too strong in certain areas, but when it comes to certain areas we're a little timid, but we are
Mm-hmm.
still a whole person. We just need to make sure we put in that effort and those energy into those areas that need to be developed.
Gotcha.
All right.
So what you are describing is what I describe as the dimensions of wellness. And so, you want each dimension to be in a good place. Now,
Yes.
they're not always going to be,
And
you know, at maximum at 100% or what have you.
no, it's not.
But, sometimes one thing might be lacking or what have you. And when I say thing, I'm talking about mental wellness, spiritual
Mm,
wellness, emotional wellness, physical
yeah.
wellness, social wellness, environmental wellness, vocational, financial. Those are the dimensions of wellness,
Yes.
at least that I identify with. So
Right.
that's what I'm hearing.
Right. And that bring resilience. That
Yeah.
bring it right there because now there may be time you may feel like, okay, I need to pull from this area because the thing is about it, Nicole, is once you have that goal set, it's kind of hard to be resilient if you don't have no goals. Okay. Got to have some goals.
Gotta have
Got
a
to
goal.
set a goal. Got to set something in place, whether it may be physically, mentally, to achieve some height of study or gaining some knowledge in some area so you could share those skills, share those knowledge and that wisdom with others to build them up also, but still at the same time finding your ground within yourself.
Okay.
And the only way to do that, sometime you got to confine yourself into the present. How present are you?
I'm right here. I'm
There
right
you
here.
go. So are you
Right here,
present
Ozzie.
tense? Are you in the moment? Are you at the moment of 920? You got to be that present. And believe me, it take work for some of us to get there to be that present. But believe me, once we start training our minds positively in those areas, you're going to start seeing things, witnessing things, and learning some things along the way that will naturally start happening. Just naturally, because now you're like, man, I didn't have to put that much work into this. This just naturally happened. Why? Because you've been exercising that muscle of the mind,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And the only way to work is, there you go, Portia, discipline to be present. It takes discipline in order for your plans to come to pass,
Right. Okay.
to be successful. Got to have that discipline. To be resilient, got to have that discipline, you know?
Yeah.
But you got to have an idea or plan in order to be present in it so you could get the details. It's all
Yeah.
about getting the details.
So Marcus said it is work to keep my mind present with so many distractions. Absolutely,
Yes,
Mark.
it is, Marcus. Absolutely. So,
You're not.
what are you going to do? And that's a question we must ask ourselves. What are we going to do about those distractions?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So we could stay present.
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
What you gonna do? What I'm gonna do?
We're
Well,
going to have positive thoughts,
yeah, and
right?
yes,
We're going
and
to maintain we're going to have repetition of thoughts, maintaining a positive outlook. I got my notes right here. Uh,
yes,
build a positive support of at least 3.
yeah,
We're going to have self care. We're going to develop problem solving skills. We're going to have realistic goals. We're going to be flexible, and we're going to learn from our experiences.
yeah. Learn from it. It's there for a reason. Sometimes we went through it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we really wanted to, but our maturity level was not high enough to say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'll make a better decision on it. But guess what? You make a better decision next time because you learned a lesson,
All
you
right.
know? And sometimes if we're not in that growth spurt in learning and growing, that lesson will be brought back to learn again,
Okay.
get our mind focused. Because at the end of the day, if we could get focused on the small things, it will build itself into bigger things. Don't just think about that 1 acre. You got to be able to build yourself up into 100 acre, but it's not going to come if you can't manage that 1 acre. And it's
Mm,
right up here in the mind.
all right. So we got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to make sure we get all of our talking points. Is that everything?
Yeah, that's everything for today.
Okay, wonderful. So Marcus says some situations force me to become a better version of myself. That's good.
And that's the plus of it. That's the plus. Because at the end of the day, as I started, it's all about improving yourself. That's the
Mm,
power of resilience. It's improving. How well are we improving? And are we going to continue improving so our plans will succeed?
mhm.
God may have to grow in some knowledge, pick up some good books in those areas that we may need to learn from. Spend some time reading it.
Yeah.
Becoming an expert in those areas so we could be able to achieve those
Mhm.
goals, you
Okay.
know? And sometimes we just have to develop that routine so we could develop good habits, better habits, as Marcus said, to become a better version of ourselves.
Yes.
And that's the key, is becoming a better version of you. And every year it should be in the mindset of being better.
Every
Am I
day.
going to do better and learn from what I didn't do or what I need to do?
Look, every day that should be our mindset.
Every single
Every
day,
day. Every
you
day.
know? And that's
Every
the key of being adaptive, you know? Yeah, that's the key.
All
You know?
right.
So,
So
yes.
go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
No, you can cut me up. Just
Okay.
cultivate it.
All
Problem
right.
solving skills. Cultivate it. You may
Cultivate.
not have it all. No one have it all, but cultivate it. Just like anything else. Cultivate it. But now you have the idea and the seed planted that, hey, I may need to really work on this so I could be better. It's all about better, about improving. Why? So now when situation comes up, when obstacles come up, we are resilient enough because we have enough knowledge and wisdom to get through it.
Yes. All right. I'm not sure who this is, but they say, hey, their family just checking in. Thank you. All
You're
right. Miss
welcome.
Jeanette said enjoying the conversation. Thank you, Miss Jeanette. Ozzie is giving Marcus is giving you hand claps. So Oz,
Thank you.
we are at the end of our conversation, but I want to give you an opportunity to give some closing remarks as we close out this talk on resilience and tell folks how they can connect with you.
Right. Oh, it's so sad coming to the end of this for the night, but gotta share and we have to take it all in and reflect. The key is reflecting on it, So I really thank you, Nicole, for the opportunity to share this evening, and I'm grateful. So one of the most important thing that we have to practice in being resilient is learning to develop a strong routine. When we develop a strong routine, we actually not going to be so predictable in our own selfishness or own weakness, but we'll have a routine to grow. And sometimes we may just have to set that good boundaries, say no sometimes so we could be able to have that space so we could be able to grow. It's all about growing and learning so we could be able to be more resilient in whatever situation that may come up. And springtime is here. Connect with nature, get outdoors. It help improve your mood, So in all of that, improve daily so you could be able to be your best self. And how could I be reached? We have on the screen the Oz Corner at gmail.com or IG OzWiz2819, or you could just look me up on Facebook, Ozzie Daniel.
All right, Ozzie Daniel, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You know,
All right. Well, I appreciate the conversation on resilience. And if you did too, let us know in the comments. Just a quick recap again, repetition of thought, got to maintain positive outlook. Number two, building a support network of at least three people. Self care, which includes exercise, hobbies, relaxation. Number four, developing problem solving skills. Five, setting realistic goals, which build confidence and helps you with accomplishing tasks. Number six, being flexible and adaptable. And then learning from your experiences. Number seven. So I see several folks chiming in. Miss Portia, great job. Ozzie, Miss
thank
Teresa,
you.
resilience is Nicole. Yes, ma'am. Miss Teresa was feeling my pain. I'm over here choking.
Yeah, she is.
My
Pushing
gosh.
through it.
Yes,
But
pushing through the day.
she got
Yeah,
some concoction earlier though that she got to make
yeah.
after
I
this.
gotta work on this concoction. So thank you, Miss Teresa. I appreciate you.
Yes.
Marcus, outstanding broadcast.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
thank you. Good stuff. Very good information. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Y'all, please let's keep this conversation going, especially with our young people. I'm telling you, I feel like they really need this type of um guidance, if you will. And they need us to help them through. And so, hopefully these things will come back to your remembrance while you are in your daily walk, but that you can share with others. For those who may be new to this platform, I invite you to subscribe to Conversations with Nicole. We are here Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Focus on mental health and wellness in Black and Brown communities, specifically encouraging us to get our checkup from the neck up and be our best selves. So let's keep, again, this resilience conversation going. We want to be strong. We want to be confident. We want to realize our goals. We want to be healthy. We want to have strong support networks. We want to be flexible. We want to be adaptable. We want to learn from our experiences. We want to be resilient. We want to be resilient. So, again, thank you so much, Ozzie, for your time.
You're
Seems like
welcome.
forever since you've been with us, but we know you're out there doing great and wonderful things for the people, and
Yeah,
so we will take you when we can get you.
I appreciate that so much. Much gratitude.
All right, cool beans. All right, y'all, have a great rest of the evening, and we.
Yes.
Oh, wait, one last thing, I forgot. The Mental Health Council of the Big Bend is hosting their sixth annual Be Kind to Your Mind, because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so
Oh,
Be Kind to Your Mind is taking place on Thursday, May 8th at 5:30 p.m. at Walker Ford Community Center, 2301 T-Pain Lane, formerly Pasco Street, but 2301 T-Pain Lane, 5:30 to 8. It's going to be, again, Walker Forward, and we'll have something for everybody. So the entire family is invited to come out. We will have food. Yes, a lovely, wonderful meal by none other than Joe Ellens, Catering with Care, Miss Teresa herself. Her and Mr. Joe going to hook us right on up. And we will have DJ Demp, who will be uh, giving us music and our sound, but we'll have special activities for the youth, for the teens, and for the adults. So the entire community is invited to come out and be a part of that. All right.
mhm.
So, Ish, great show once again. Wonderful info. Thank you,
Thank
Ishmael.
you.
Appreciate you so much. Appreciate you so much. All right, y'all. Have again a great evening, and we'll see y'all next time.
Good night. Take care.
Bye.